Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Post Race Reddit, where every single week I go to the NASCAR Reddit page and go through the post-race discussion and pick out some of my favorite comments that users made in that post-race discussion and leave my 2 cents, leave my comments on their comments, and we'll talk about, of course, the Auto Trader 400. Also, if you see one of your comments on this video and you don't want your comments showing up on these videos, let me know and I will avoid your profile altogether. I'm hoping that these videos gain a little bit more steam. That way I can do all the comments on my own Reddit page. But for now, we're doing this. All right, let's see what we got here first from Dilly Dilly Season. I like that, Dilly Dilly.
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the Pit of Misery.
I'm sorry, what?
Pit of Misery! Dilly dilly! Dilly dilly!
Kyle Larson, when he has a top 5 car all day, one lap away from another stage points haul and putting himself in a great position to fight for the win. And that picture is from the USA-Canada game a little bit earlier. That was an epic game. USA freaking wins it. What is a kilometer? But yeah, I kind of expected something about Larson to be in here. They don't call him hung money for no reason, because that's pretty much what he did. He hung a left. He hung a left all the way to the bottom and wrecked himself off of SVG's nose, and that was a huge mistake on his part. I would give it 90% on him, 10% on the spotter. The only reason I give it 10% to Tyler Mon, because maybe he could have been more descriptive, but at the same time, those two have worked together for so long. Tyler Mon was even Kyle Larson's spotter at the Indianapolis 500, and they seem to have great chemistry, so that's probably how he would usually communicate with Kyle Larson, but Larson to just pull a crazy move like that all the way from the top and just jump all the way to the bottom, that was a big mistake on his part. And how about SVG? He went flying through the grass twice. If Gap car, Carson Hocevar. Yeah, 100%. I've seen this meme around on X, on Reddit. I've been seeing this meme pop up everywhere tonight, and that is if Gap car, Carson Hocevar. Yeah, there wasn't really enough room, I'd say, on the front row for him to squeeze through the middle. He ended up taking out Christopher Bell in that instance, but Bubba Wallace learned it on the last lap. Last lap as well. Don't leave any sort of space for Carson Hocevar, because he is going to try his best to take it. And Carson Hocevar, he was exciting to watch tonight. Once again, leading, coming to the white flag like he was in the 500, and just was unable to finish the job. Got a top 5. That first win is coming, though. And I don't like the nickname Hurricane, by the way. Stop calling him that. Stop calling him that. From Horace70, a Shane Van Gisbergen fan here. SVG is 6th. Let's go. Then you got Dwight with the thank you gif right there. Awesome. Completely awesome. SVG is getting so much better on the ovals. His racecraft is top notch. He came back from wrecking through the infield twice, for Pete's sake. Went sliding through the infield like he was freaking Lightning McQueen. Yeah, good job, SVG. Heading into Coda too, and currently he's in the top 16 in points. So what a performance and what a start of a season for SVG, which is actually the opposite of his teammate Connor Zilic, who's had a very tough start to the season. From Strider, wow, Bubba threw that away. I couldn't agree more. He went to go throw the block high on the back straightaway, coming to the white flag, and went a little bit too high and left the perfect amount of room for Hocevar to just squeeze on in there, and that's exactly what Hocevar did. Yeah, Bubba shot himself in the foot. I hate to say that, but that's what happened. I don't know if Bubba would have won the race or not, but he would have had a lot better of a chance if he didn't throw that crazy of a block and he went too high. He got overzealous, went too high up the racetrack, and Hocevar made him pay for it. I comment on crap. Once again, I love your username, dude. Reverse burnout is crazy. I couldn't agree more. That was pretty awesome. That reverse burnout was badass, to say the least. Like, I didn't expect it. I've never seen that. I've never seen that before. It looked really cool. Yeah, that's one of the best burnouts I've ever seen. This one here is from Curling the Rainbow, the field to Hocevar after this race, and it's the meme from Airplane where they're all shaking the woman and then smacking her like, calm down, you gotta calm down, or whatever. And yeah, I would, yeah. Personally, if I was Bubba Wallace, I would have walked down pit road like I was Kyle Busch and he was Joey Logano at Las Vegas and socked him in the face, to be honest. Not for making the move down the middle, but for what happened on the last lap. Bubba Wallace had a huge run coming to the outside. I don't know if it would have been good enough to put him in the lead, but it would have put him in contention to win the race, and Hocevar just flat out put him in the wall. Like, just put him in the wall. Hocevar wrecked Bell. But Hocevar is exciting. He's entertaining. I liked Hocevar's interview. I like Bubba's interview. So Hocevar is getting that first win very, very soon. It looks like the Pug is putting down the law again this week as Law Pug. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Bubba's second in points, by the way. Bubba could have won the 500. He could have won the Auto Trader 400. Could have won the first two races. His teammate wins both races instead. But Bubba Wallace is in second in points. So great start for the season for 23XI, but I feel for Bubba. Bubba wants to win so bad, and he's going to get back to victory lane very, 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 very soon. And I don't think it's going to be at a super speedway either. I think he's going to get it done at like an oval. I can see him getting it done at like Kansas or something like that here in a couple of weeks. And this one right here is from Weaver, Reddick pulling into victory lane. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't remember. Is that a Mark Martin car? That might be a Mark Martin car. I see the blue and the red on the top. I assume they just drew the 45 on there because of Reddick for the meme. But pretty much, Reddick had a destroyed right front. He didn't have a right front on the car. It almost reminded me of Dale Jr. at Martinsville when he all of a sudden was just the fastest guy on the track when they cleared out when it was also the right front, I think. I think it was also the right front for Junior, and he lost it, and it actually helped the way the car drove. It kept the brakes cool. The tires didn't get worn out as much, so it ended up helping Junior with that damage. And do I think the damage helped Reddick? No, I don't think the damage helped Reddick, but it just really reminded me of Dale Jr. at Martinsville all those years ago. I want to say it was like 2004 or something, maybe 2005 at Martinsville when he did that. And this one right here is from Smarko Stunt. All this talk about points being back, and in 2 whole broadcasts, they haven't shown them once. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this sentiment. It's irritated the crap out of me, to be completely honest. We've been trying to make points a big deal, and it isn't, to at least Fox, I guess. Last week, I remember, for the standings after the Daytona 500, because you had to account for the duels and everything as well. The standings weren't even up on NASCAR.com for a couple of hours. It wasn't directly after the race when they got put up. It took them a couple of hours to put the points up. And I'll have to commend CW, give a quick shout out to CW. First of all, their broadcast was phenomenal. Second of all, their booth, they have the best booth in NASCAR right now. That booth was electric with Jamie Mack, Parker Kligerman, and Adam Alexander, Adam Alexander has improved so much over the years. He's a great commentator. But they showed the points after the finish of the race, maybe 10, 15 minutes after the race was completed, and they got an interview with Sheldon Creed. Awesome. Sheldon Creed freaking won. That's awesome, by the way. They showed the points. They gave us a points update, and they didn't do that for the Cup race. I don't think they did that for the truck race either. So Fox really need to get it together and get their points up during the broadcast, since points matter now. Freaking Reddick leaves with almost a full race lead on Bubba Wallace, who's second in points because he won the first 2 races. This one is from RY No. Can we collectively all agree that Atlanta is arguably the best race on the circuit? I loved every second of this one. Unreal. And the second part of this is Hocevar is a freaking wild man. People are going to be salty as hell when he gets that first one. I agree with both of those things. Atlanta or Echo Park, whatever you want to call it. I'm still going to call it Atlanta Motor Speedway. How about Boyer calling it Atlanta Motor Speedway at the end of that thing too, huh? They might give him some crap about that. But anyways, It's awesome. Dale Jr.'s called it the hottest ticket in NASCAR. I used to call it Bristol, and a couple of years ago he changed his mind on that. And he's like, no, Atlanta is the new hottest ticket in NASCAR. And I couldn't agree more. The racing is phenomenal. It reminds me of Daytona and Talladega in the O'Reilly series, or just a couple of years ago in the Cup series before the next gen car. Just fantastic racing, big runs, just amazing. I like Echo Park Speedway a lot. I think I've heard a lot of people say, oh, that's what they should do to Texas. They should change Texas into that. I want them to change Texas, but I don't want them to turn Texas into an Atlanta Part 2. I'm not really interested in that because I want Atlanta right now is special. It's a special racetrack right now. There's no racetracks even close to it. No tracks are similar to Atlanta on the schedule, and I want it to stay like that. I like it when tracks are different. That's one of the reasons why I like Darlington so much, is because there's no tracks that are like Darlington, and right now there's no tracks that are like Hot Atlanta. So I don't think they should make Texas an Atlanta Part 2. And the other part of this about Hocevar, he's wild, man. He was the most entertaining driver all race long. I just kept one eye on the race itself and then one eye on Hocevar all race long. He is just the most exciting driver in NASCAR right now. He's he's becoming one of the most popular drivers in NASCAR right in front of our eyes, especially with the younger crowd, with all these collaborations he does. He's always on Twitch, he's always on social media doing something. So he's becoming one of the most popular drivers in the sport. But if you don't like him, you probably hate him. And so people are going to be upset when he gets that first win. I was saying it a little bit earlier when I was watching the race. Carson Hocevar reminds me so much of a young Kyle Busch. And this comes from a Kyle Busch fan. He reminds me so much of a young Kyle Busch, a Hendrick Motorsports Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch when he first joined Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch. That's what this version of Hocevar reminds me of. And I don't really want him to change either. He's very blatant. He's honest most of the time. I still don't really like what he did when it came to Carson v. Carson, him and Carson Ware at the end of the O'Reilly Series race in Daytona, him not taking any accountability. But other than that, I really like the guy. And he's going to get a first win very, very soon. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't really have a prediction, I would say, for that, but it's coming soon. This one right here is from the Space Ace, a live Rowdy reaction. Rowdy Nation, we're putting our toasters in the bathtub. This one right here from Space Ace personally offends me. God dang it. God dang nabbit. Like, oh man, I'm blown. Rowdy got spun. Rowdy's most shit. I hit my mic. Most people know that have watched me for a certain amount of time that I'm a huge Kyle Busch fan. He is my favorite driver, and I think he tried to pinpoint the blame for that incident on Noah Gragson. Personally, in my opinion, that was on Rowdy. Rowdy threw a block last second. Gragson didn't have really enough time to react. That wreck was on Rowdy. Rowdy wrecked Rowdy on that one, unfortunately. We're going back to COTA next week. I personally went to COTA last year, and I was completely heartbroken by Rowdy not winning that race. I was watching Seabell chase him down to go get that win, and that's the most heartbroken I've ever been at a racetrack. So hopefully Rowdy's able to get a little bit of redemption and win at Circuit of the Americas for the Duramax Grand Prix next week. And we'll finish off with this one. ECU Pats fan 12, I assume a big Tom Brady fan. Michael Jordan loves NASCAR. He does. Michael Jordan loves NASCAR. He seems very passionate about it. When he first came into the scene of NASCAR with 2311, didn't really do a lot of interviews, but lately he's doing a lot of interviews. He's very happy about being part of NASCAR. NASCAR is really happy that he's a part of NASCAR. And round of applause for Tyler frickin' Reddick, man. Tyler Reddick is a badass. Last year, obviously all his personal struggles with his young son, Rookie, Obviously, he didn't win any races last year. He underperformed by a mile last year. And 2 races in, he already has 2 wins on the year. He has almost a full race advantage on second in points, who is his teammate, Bubba Wallace. So I got to commend Michael Jordan, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and everybody over at 2311 Racing, because it's been a hell of a year. It's been a hell of a start to the year for these guys. I'm so impressed by them. I really am. This is great for the sport to have a guy like Michael Jordan doing Michael Jordan stuff and winning. All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of Post Race Reddit. I appreciate anybody who tuning in. You might be watching this after I've already released my Car on the Hauler, my post-race show that I do every Monday, going through the Craftsman Truck Series, O'Reilly Series, and Cup Series events. So check out that video, and also come back next week for another edition of Post-Race Reddit, as obviously we'll be talking about COTA, Circuit of the Americas, the Duramax Grand Prix. But for now, I'm Trackside Larry saying peace.